All right, guys, let's talk about one of my favorite knife locations, South Africa. I think you get a great bang for your buck there from all the makers. I have done a bunch. I'm going to put a link to my South African playlist at the end of this video because I've had the fortune of doing a lot of different South African makers. And today, again, is no different. Today we have an Arno Bernard knife. This is the Imamba. And I like this model. I don't like this specific variant of the model. Okay. A couple of years ago, I did another Imamba that Alex from the Watch and Cut channel sent me that has a flipper tab, and I think it had mammoth tooth inlays and things like that. That one I liked a lot better. But let's talk about this guy and what's good and what's bad. Okay. Here's a little bit of the specs. There you go. Just to give you an idea. Here is where to find them. And I'll put some links in the description as well. And it did come with a cool hank. With the, I'm not even sure what animal that is. Is that the gazelle? Is that the impala? I don't know. But it's a South African plains animal. Okay, so I know you guys are all laughing and being like, dude, that's a freaking XYZ. Whatevs. I'm here to talk about the knife, not the wildlife in South Africa. Okay. Arno Bernard. Actually, I didn't realize this until I was talking to my brother, who is a big Arno Bernard fan and has one. And I believe he has this one with a flipper tab. And he told me that there's multiple Arno Bernards. It's a company now. Arno Bernard Sr. started back in 1979. And he has 4 sons. And all 4 sons now work for the company. They all went to college, got degrees in different things that I'm not going to list here because I will screw it up and I didn't take good enough notes. But it's a family operation now today. Not only is there Arno Bernard Sr., Arno Bernard Jr., Juan and Ron, I think, as the 4 sons. They also employ 8 other employees, and they support 11 different families now in their business. So that's super cool. Now, one of the things I don't love about it is the opening, although I've gotten a little bit better at opening it. I wish it had a flipper tab. I wish it had a thumb stud. I wish that the fuller went all the way up to here so you could try to use it as more of a thumb stud. As it is, you go and you pick up the knife, you have to kind of pick it up in a certain way that's a little unnatural, feels uncomfortable. You got to get your thumb way down here to bring it up and into action. Okay. Once it's open, this is very Sebenza-esque. Very basic titanium frame lock. RWL 34 blade. Really nice blade shape. Super sharp and slicey. Feels really good in the hand. You do feel that pocket clip though. It's a thing, but it works really well in your pocket. And it comes with this leather lanyard. I would probably take that off if this was my knife. This is not my knife. This is Professor EDC. And it came directly from Arno Bernard Knives in South Africa. It's always cool to get things directly from other countries. I just find some joy in that when I do the unboxings. Anyway, let's talk about the specs on this thing. 4.5 inches closed, 7 7/8 overall. The more I use this, the more I'm getting used to the opening. So maybe it's not as much of a negative as I initially thought in my unboxing or 2 minutes ago in the video, but it's still a thing. Something to be aware of. 3.4 inch blade, 3.2 inch cutting edge, 0.016 behind the edge, super thin and slicey. Overall thickness of 0.123 for the blade. The blade is nicely crowned up here. So it's super smooth. A little bit of jimping, which works really well. If you had gloves on, not so much. Wet hands, maybe not so much. But this isn't really a hard use. Go out and, field dress animal knife necessarily. It's more of the gentleman's folder plus. It's not super thin and fit in your suit pocket necessarily, but yeah, it's pretty cool. RWL 34 blade steel, weighs in at 4.3 ounces, and it runs on washers. Let's take a look at those washers real quick. If I can open this little Ziploc bag, maybe I can and maybe I cannot because my fingers, I'm not a drug dealer, so I'm not used to these little tiny dime bag things, okay? Anyway, don't need to open them. You can see these are really thick washers. Why are they so thick, you ask? Because this knife can run either on washers or bearings. Pretty cool that it can go either way. And so to do that, they just use a really thick washer. So you could take this apart. They recommend taking it apart from the clip side because they use a stronger Loctite on this side. I was talking to my brother about it. I said, I might have to take it apart and see, what it is. He goes, be careful. He's heard stories of people opening it, breaking the pivot screw, and having to wait for a new one to come from South Africa. So I said, okay, I won't do that. He reached out to the Arno Bernard Facebook group. He asked the question, and one of the sons, I think it was Ron, R-A-U-N, answered and said, hey, here's how we do it. We use such and such a Loctite on this side, different Loctite on this side. Open it from this side. You only have one to adjust. Leave this one always together. You never have to take that one off. I thought that was super cool that somebody from the company is monitoring and participating in the Facebook group. I think that's super cool. So yeah, you can just order up washers or you can order up bearings. You can disassemble it and you could pop in whatever you like. That's super cool. I don't know. I don't love the finish on the blade because it is super smudgy. And because you have to absolutely touch the blade to roll it out, you're going to end up with fingerprints on there no matter what you do. So, that's not my jam, but I get it. It's okay. I would still buy the knife. Here it is next to the Sharpie, the Q36SS. I don't have like my Spyderco Delica here because I sent that off to Alex to get sharpened. How about next to the Peter Stain Latch 22, sort of slip joint, sort of friction folder, because it has 3 stops. 2 stops in between, full stop, right? Little detents, super cool, and a bottle opener there on the tab. Such a cool knife that Peter and his wife Joyce gifted me. I thought it was super cool. As far as another size comparison, how about the custom Black Death series Hellraiser? All right, let me know your thoughts down below. I would love to know how many of you guys own an Arno Bernard knife? Because they're popular, but they're not mainstream popular, for lack of better words. I think they make a great knife. Hopefully I can see some more of them in the future. But yeah, I think they're super cool. Basic titanium frame lock. Nothing fancy. Nothing really special per se. Does have a lock bar stabilizer, so you can't over tighten it. And is there lock bar insert, all that good stuff, right? So done really nice, but just clean, classy, basic, super high quality. Pretty awesome. Much like everything that comes out of South Africa.